Are you serious? Are you serious, guys? Just relax a minute. Okay, it's not me saying this, but a Harvard astrophysicist is. Is there aliens among us? Well, Abraham Loeb, actually the senior astrophysicist in Harvard, is considering that interstellar object that was racing through the cosmos. He thinks that it maybe isn't an asteroid, but could be a spacecraft sent from an alien world. And at the same time, while he's considering that, he's not the only one, as NASA has got special cameras and probes in the heavens that are also trying to zoom in on this thing to get a better understanding of it. We want to welcome you to today's broadcast. Maybe we got to go find an expert in this area that can help us out here. So we've got with us Bob Kudla. Bob Kudla from TradeGeniusAcademy.com. Bob, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, Paul. I handle stock trading and astrophysical events.
Okay. Well, you kind of got to get out of this world to get involved in the stock market anyway and some of this trading.
So, it was just crazy when I read that article. I knew you would appreciate it. You know, it's as somebody who's just has an eye on heaven here in the end times, that people are going to be believing lies and spirits and I'm sitting there going, okay, this is crazy. And this guy took the thinnest thread that he possibly could, based on some calculations, and basically he created this entire, conjecture. And it's just amazing to me, and I mean, the thing's made out of rock, you know what I mean?
Right.
Where it came from, they said came from maybe Vega. And if you remember Vega, that was the movie Contact, and, Carl Sagan and, Are We Out There? And all this kind of crazy stuff. But I think there was a lot of interest in this, Paul, and people have the tickling ears. They want to hear what they want to hear, and so I just thought I'd bring it to your attention because it's just so easy to lie to people anymore.
People are literally very gullible, and the Bible does say that there will be a strong delusion, and people will believe a lie and be damned. There's no doubt about that. And here's another question for you. If this astrophysicist over there in Harvard, this keeps the curiosity going, and you got Elon Musk is going to build a colony on Mars, and the Chinese landed on the backside of the moon. I mean, does this affect any stocks? I mean, is there any public trading companies out there that benefit by space exploration?
Not really, because these contracts are spread far and wide. First of all, nothing from China is really anything, because it's their military that's doing all of that work. So you really can't invest in any of those companies, even if you wanted to. And the stuff with NASA, SpaceX and Tesla is Musk, and I would tell you to stay away from both those companies. SpaceX just laid off 10% of their workforce, Paul. So they can't be doing that great. And Tesla, our view is that the company's worthless. It's just being held up because Elon Musk is of the right political persuasion, and the market cap of the stock is so high that I think people are fearful of selling it off. Could cause a cascade in the market the way the market is structured right now. So nothing on that end. There's some other things that are more terrestrial that are happening in the world today that we could profit from. And that was just what's happening with the climate this winter in North America and in Europe and Western Russia.
Yeah, this climate has really went crazy, and we were reporting on that earlier this weekend, how that this unbelievable snowstorm, simultaneously this massive snowstorm, I think they call it Andre, just buried Europe. I mean, he just buried it with just incredible avalanches. 21 people are dead. At the same time, America was under siege by this polar vortex 7 people killed on our highways, unfortunately, from this blizzard. So, does the climate, what does it do? I mean, it definitely affects energy stocks, doesn't it?
Yeah. In fact, I sent you, when we started seeing the 14-day reports, we trade natural gas a lot. There's a stock called UNG. There's another stock called SWN, and that's Southwestern Energy. That's a natural gas stock. Oil right now, we have way too much oil right now, Paul. So buying oil stocks is not yet, but natural gas is it's in demand. I mean, Europe can't produce any natural gas, so they have to get it from us, the Middle East, and Russia. And so in the U.S., you're talking natural gas at the wholesale level is $2.90 per million cubic foot. They can ship that. They put it. They freeze it and condense it, and it's called compressed natural gas, and they ship it over to Europe, and they sell it for $6, Paul.
What?
And so, yeah, and with Europe freezing, that is their primary way, electric and natural gas, to heat their homes. So, I mean, this winter in Europe, I mean, if people still believe in global warming after this winter, they absolutely need a psychologist, because this is exactly what happened. All they have to do is dust off their weather reports from 500 years ago, and it's following it to a T, Paul. And where you're supposed to get the big rains, you're getting the big rains. Where you're supposed to get the big snow, you're getting the big snow. I mean, even like if you look at the snow map of England, the snow map of England is 80% covered in snow, which is extremely unusual. And the global warming guys said your children will never know snow again in the UK. And in Austria, and this is the thing to watch for, because in Austria they had a couple of these villages are under 20 to 30 feet of snow, Paul. I mean, buried. They're showing cars being pulled out with 10 feet of snow on top of the hood of the car. This is one snowstorm. This is at 3,500, 4,000 feet. We're not talking like high Sierra snows where you get 10 to 12 foot snowstorms. These are snowstorms in the 4,000 foot range, 5,000 foot range, Denver elevations, and it's basically it shut down their winter resorts. That's how much snow they got. And if this keeps up the way they think it is, they said, look, this thing's not going to stop, Paul. This is like maybe another 30 days like this. What? Is that this snow's not going to melt next summer. And that's how it all begins. And you and I were talking off air as we were getting set up, is during the 1400s and 1500s, these villages were sending priests in Switzerland out to pray in front of the avalanches, praying to God that he would stop their forward movement. That's how fast they were moving, Paul. That means from one season to another, the village could be obliterated. And so these are the things to watch. And we've been talking about this for years, and now we're going into the meat of it. These next 12 years is we're knee deep, and pardon the pun. And we're going to start seeing now certain ag areas start to go offline. The Canadian agriculture markets next year or two are going to be totally failed harvests. Australia is already struggling, and we're going to have issues in the plains. Next week in Kansas City, Paul, it's going to, for the football game between them and the Patriots, it's going to be between -5 and -10 degrees.
In Kansas City?
Brutally cold. Kansas City, Missouri. So this is coming, and so there's ways you can profit from this misery. And those are the things that we watch. And now we're keeping a good eye on the food prices, the grains, because last time this happened, Paul, grain prices doubled and tripled. And so there's opportunities to profit from that, but also at the same time is to hedge your food bill, because food prices are going to go up as well.
Yeah, anytime energy prices go up, then the transportation prices, the shipping prices go up, and then that's reflected somewhere. It winds up on the price of the item. Folks, this is Bob Kudla. He's with us from TradeGeniusAcademy.com. That's TradeGeniusAcademy.com, Bob Kudla. You can always call Bob on the phone with questions about trading and getting into his academy school. You learn how to be a wise trader, really, a genius maybe. The number is 1-800-949-1408. That's 1-800-949-1408. You can call Bob. And, of course, if you get some of his courses, you'll be able to learn how to trade. Matter of fact, Bob, recently you just, because of the weather changes, and you could see, and you do this. I know when I talked to you, I first met you, you study historical patterns of weather and can pretty well figure out when to buy which energy sources, or like you said, food, grain, wheat, barley. You can figure it out. So you've been very successful. You just made a recommendation that, from what I understand, did it have a 20% return in a few days?
Yeah, we actually in December we saw that natural gas prices spiked really high, and then we knew there was going to be a 30-day what's called relative warming period. And so we advise people to short natural gas, and there's easy to do. We show people how to do that, and we give the signals out. It's normal types of stocks you can use, and we made really good trade on that. And then just last week, we noticed that hey, these weather patterns aren't subsiding, and Europe is being buried, and the U.S. now is going to start getting a taste of that too. So we recommended people go ahead and buy natural gas, and which is called UNG. It's a regular ETF. Anybody can do. And lo and behold, our signals hit. We took the signals. We told people, hey, you probably want to get in this thing. And this thing now went from $24 to $29. And you can see it on the chart that I sent you. This isn't me sitting back here with some sort of, crystal ball or any kind of, throw the darts kind of thing. Our system saw the buying pressure and indicated that on the charts, and we just passed it on to our subscribers. And we teach you that in the training.
Well, tell us.
Provide that software to subscribers that want to have access to that.
We're showing the chart right now, Bob, on the screen, and we see the purple bar running on the top. Tell us a little bit what we see here.
Yeah, let me pull it up on my side because I can't see what you see. Give me 1 sec.
Folks, Bob Kudla with us. Bob Kudla from TradeGeniusAcademy.com. And you can always go to his website. He's got specials going for the winter right now and help you. And there's people out there that have never been involved with trade at all, but he breaks it down for you and gives you simple steps and gives you updates, alerts, so that you know when it's time to buy and when it's time to sell. So, Bob, do you got the chart now?
Yeah, I do. So this chart here is showing 3 trades. And if you see the ones where the arrows are going down on the left, is when our signal was telling people, you see the arrows that say sell.
Yeah.
And we confirm that with these other indicators that you see below, that this signal here that you see where it says sell with the arrow, then we look down below, and I put these up for visual representation as saying, we agree with that assessment, and so we'll pass that signal on to people to go ahead and sell natural gas. Well, last week, we saw the reports, natural gas stopped going down, and then we started getting a buy signal. As you can see, here it happened on like the 6th of January, and then we got a confirmation on that, and then another confirmation on it on Friday, and boom, it took off. These lines you see here are just channel lines, Paul. So once it pushes out through those lines, we advise people that they might want to take profit or move their stop up or because it could come back down. So that's what those lines are for. But we use these arrows, and we use the indicators below to provide those trade signals for our subscribers. So even though we train you, is that we give you the signals too, so that you're just not out there trying to guess. And we follow these all the time. I have a big interest in this stock because it's one that in which you can trade quite a bit and make a lot of money trading it.
All right, and like Bob said, he's got some winter specials out there, folks, that you can check out. We got there on the screen for you. Bob, let me ask you a question as well here. There's a big buy just happened. Newmont just bought one of the largest gold mining companies in the world up in Canada. And now Newmont is by far the largest gold mining company in the world. I mean, they will be about 60% of all the gold mined in the world will be coming from them. Do you see gold right now is about $1,200, almost $1,300 an ounce? What do you see? Silver's around 15 something. What do you see in 2019 the prices of gold and silver doing?
They're going to go up, Paul. There's without a doubt. You know, the politicians can't make hard decisions, so they're going to keep printing money, and that's going to support gold and silver. The stock market can't handle higher interest rates. You saw how it dropped 20% because Powell said he was going to keep raising interest rates, and so now the Federal Reserve's like they're scared to death. If they keep raising interest rates, you know. They might be out of a job, or they may have people putting on yellow jackets and heading to New York City to hunt down the Federal Reserve people. And so there's only one outlet left, and that's gold and silver, and it's going to move higher, a lot higher. You know, our view in the next 2 to 3 years, gold will double and silver will probably go up 4 to 5 times, and we have precedent for this. This has happened before, and so this is not new information. Now, Newmont bought Goldcorp, but also Barrick Gold bought Randgold. So these are the two biggest players in the market. And what they tell you by doing these things is that they feel that the assets of the companies that they're buying are dirt cheap, and they're getting them for a deal. And it's always better if you could buy your reserves than try to dig them out of the ground. And now we have the two biggest gold producers in the world buying up other gold producers. And so that's going to lift the entire mining sector. And so we follow those small miners, and we put out signals on those. And, we had a couple what we call lotto picks that have gone up, 20 and 30%. And so we're going to see more of that kind of action going forward, because now we have a valuation that we can look at. And these guys aren't buying because they think the price is going down, Paul. They're buying now before the price goes up, so they don't have to overpay for these assets down the line. So this is good news for the market. Next thing we're going to start seeing the big silver producers start buying out other silver producers. And so that's what we're watching for. And then that completes the whole thing, and then we're in a bull market with gold and silver. And we've been following it. You and I have been talking about this almost all of 2018, Paul. Remember I said we're going to have a reset. We're not going to have 29 crash. We're not going to have a 2008 crash. We're going to have money moving from Wall Street to Main Street. We're going to be money moving from the tech and the financials and the FANG stocks over to these commodity stocks. And we're seeing it. Uranium's up, silver, gold's up, and now we're seeing it here with natural gas. And that's going to continue. Eventually oil will catch on with it, and the ag stocks will catch on with it too. That's where you want to put your money. And if you're in the stock market itself, it makes no sense for you to be totally exposed to the indexes that they want you to be exposed to, because we're going to go down again, Paul. Sometime in 2019, we'll be down 25% from the all-time highs. And why suffer that drawdown? And even if you can't sell everything, you should probably put more things into cash, and that you can participate then for the opportunities that are going to come after that event. Eventually, the stock market's going to go back higher, but it needs to reset because it's out of balance. And if China rolls over, or Europe rolls over, and they both are, it's going to cause a lot of pressure on the U.S. stock market. You might as well be in the things that are going to go up regardless. And those are the things I just mentioned, the precious metal commodities and uranium and natural gas.
Bob, also I want to ask you, because Vladimir Putin and Russia, they've been buying a lot of gold, but now they announced just on this past Friday that they're looking to buy $470 billion worth of Bitcoin, not at one time, They want to buy $10 billion worth of Bitcoin in this first quarter and then see if that helps adjust the pricing. I was just looking at Bitcoin today. It is at $3,674 a coin, and that's down about $400 from Thursday of last week, but it fluctuates, okay? So if Russia, first of all, why would Russia do this, number one? And number two, what if they actually start buying $10 billion a quarter, what does that do to the price of Bitcoin?
Okay, so I'll answer the why, and then I'm going to answer the what if. The why is that, look, Russia is at war with the Western economy, global banking elites. Okay, and so there's only two things you can do outside the banking system, right? Buy gold and silver and buy cryptocurrencies. And so we have the American bankers and the European bankers have been shorting Bitcoin like crazy. All right, they've been suppressing it. You can see it in the futures markets. And so if Putin can go ahead and create a demand for, digital Bitcoin, I was going to call it physical, but not conjured like what our banks do, is that he'll create a demand for Bitcoin, and the float. What float means is just the amount of Bitcoin available to trade is extremely small, Paul. Probably only 16 or 17% of all the Bitcoin ever mined is trading out there. So he could create an amazing short squeeze that could potentially cause great harm to the bank's balance sheets. You're leveraged up, 4 to 5 to 1 on these things, and as a bank, and if Putin could get this thing to pop, from 3,600 to 36,000, he's going to put a hurt locker on a lot of people short, and those are bankers. And so that's the method to his madness. Will it work? If he does what he says he'll do, it will work. The entire market capitalization of cryptocurrencies is about between 120 and 150 billion dollars. So if he's saying he's going to buy $400 billion worth of Bitcoin, he's going to make the market. And when those crazy prices of 100,000 plus whatever that were thrown around last year, then those prices will come into the forefront. We've told people all along, you have to have a position in this, a speculative position. Buy one Bitcoin. There's only going to be X amount of million of ever created, and then you have it. And then if nothing happens to it, hey, you can say, hey, I lost money like everybody else. But if this thing goes, you're going to have a tremendous hedge against the banking world, and we're of the view that it'll skyrocket. And so what we do now is we're trading in and out of this, Paul. We tell people have a core position, and then just use our signals. I just shot a note to somebody else this morning before Bitcoin did that big pop that it did. Our signal flashed to buy on it, and so that's all we're doing is just adding to our positions and lowering our costs and getting people positioned. And like I said, look, if you struggle with the power that the bankers have over our lives, is that you want to be engaged in cryptocurrency and you want to be engaged in the precious metals, and look no further what the French are doing. The Yellow Jackets, they're telling people to pull their money out of the banks. They understand where the power is, and this is and that's coming, Paul. So
now one thing's happening with the Yellow Vest protests. I'm glad you brought this up. Is Emmanuel Macron? He told him that's it. No more Yellow Vest protesting. Told his police crack down. It's over. I knew right then. Are you serious? It's over. They'll turn up the heat, and they did this Saturday. There's 80,000 people in Paris. They were breaking stuff, burning stuff. I don't know how that bakery blew up. I don't know if that was an accident or something more sinister, but it's getting ugly there. And he refuses to cut taxes. The French are right now the highest tax nation in the world at 46.2%. I mean, half their paycheck goes to Macron. And they got to pay $7 a gallon for gasoline. I mean, they can't survive. So, and the whole European Union is under this taxation, migration, frustration. I don't know. It's possible that the euro could die out there. I can't believe the euro is still stronger than the U.S. dollar. How can this be?
It's not stronger, Paul. It's those numbers are meaningless when you compare the exchange rates. So look, it's funny how taking back to the Bible, iron and clay, right? I mean, half of Europe's a mess, and then you got the northern bloc that's relatively strong, and the clash between the Islamic world and the nominally Christian world, if you can use that term for Europe, and you got the African versus the European, and so I don't know, I don't know if I want to be in Europe or invested in Europe. I think the euro is going to roll over, and it's going to become a currency that people aren't going to want to trade for it. And so, look, the French, they've had it, and it's more than 46%, Paul. That's just their income tax. Yeah. They're paying 17% VAT on top of that.
What?
Yeah. So, and just so you know, too, in case we get too excited, if you live in New York or California and you make over $100,000 a year, half your income's going to the government as well, because Social Security, Medicare, federal, state, local, so we're up there too. That's why the Northeast is draining out of people, because you just can't afford to live there, and then the price of homes obviously are a problem too. So
Bob,
so Europe's a mess, and China's a big mess, and they can hide it to a degree, but look at their export figures collapsed last week, Paul.
Bob,
so yeah.
What about though with this new Congress that just came in? That Pelosi just got the gavel. She's got all these new freshmen. You got the young Congress lady, Cortez. She's thinking 70% tax, and then talking about give everybody a job, everybody gets a paycheck, Medicaid's free. I mean, what's going? Are we going so far to the left that there's no possible way to come back, or what's getting ready to happen here?
Yeah, well, she's so far to the left. I think she's scaring her own party, and so it's never going to happen. It just won't happen. So it's just a lot of rhetoric to just scare the right and to pump up her base, and I think we'll be probably in a recession before the next election, and I think people will see. You sure you're going to want to tax people when the economic environment is not strong? You sure you want to let people in to our country that are going to be competing for the same social benefits that you now need, and so a lot of that stuff will tamp down. I think she's just throwing out red meat, and and figure she's just a freshman, they could just poop her off, but that whole class is of that ilk. I mean, they've hired and they put into power some pretty crazy people. That lady from Hawaii, Arizona, she's nuts too, and they just had these bizarre beliefs, and I don't know if they believe them as much as they are just so desperate for power that they'll say anything.
Folks, it's Bob Kudla here, speaking very frankly with us today. It's no question that that some of this stuff is so pie in the sky and so out there. It's almost out there with that alien spacecraft that the astrophysicist Abraham Loeb of Harvard's seen. I mean, we're getting to another stratosphere here. It's gone. Our government's gone extraterrestrial here. Are you serious? Are you serious, Bob?
I think that's exactly what happened. We actually are probably dealing with people not from this world.
Oh, man. Folks, this is Bob Kudla. Hey, you can always pick up the phone and call Bob, okay, at TradeGeniusAcademy.com. The phone number is 1-800-949-1408. That's 1-800-949-1408. Or go to his website at TradeGeniusAcademy.com. He's got some winter specials going to get into his academy where he does some training with you, get you started with the right software, and give you the alerts to what's going on and help you tippy-toe your way into the market if you've never done it. And even if you are and you just need better tips, more understanding what's going on, this guy is a genius. For instance, we're in a solar minimum. So when he's talking about cold conditions, real extreme weather conditions, he's correct on that. And that immediately affects energy prices, one, food prices, too, because weather does affect the yield of the crops. So, Bob, do you have a plan for people? I mean, you got like tips that you'll give them on this?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. You know, and I've been sharing them with you all year. Our philosophy on this has not changed. You know, money from Wall Street to Main Street, money from tech financials to ags, commodities, energy, natural gas, uranium, etc. You know, hunker down because the political climate is now getting, you know, we're going from the elites to the people. And so we're seeing all these things take place, and it's going to get more and more shrill before, you know, we get any kind of breakthrough. So our view has always been is to take risk off the table where you can and buy the assets that go up when things get riskier. And that's what we do. We have a watch list. You know, my computer software watches for these trades even when I'm not looking, and then provides them to me that I evaluate, look for confirmation, and pass on to our subscribers. I try to at least get one trade, maybe two trades out there a day for people to evaluate, you know, for their own benefit, to see if it fits with what they're trying to do, and help people make money nearly every day in the market. You know, Paul, over the last now 7 months, we're up nearly 96% on the trades that we did in the stock market, and in the cryptocurrency markets, we're up almost 230%, Paul. And cryptocurrencies have been going down that whole time. So we know how to make money in any market environment, and we want to help people do that. You know, this is not get rich quick stuff. This is singles and doubles every day, helping people get positioned in the right things that are moving in the right direction at the right time.
Folks, again, TradeGeniusAcademy.com. Just go to the website at www.TradeGeniusAcademy.com. Bob Kudla, really good man, Christian company, real family man, really cares about the people and his clients and customers. And when you go there, go to TradeGeniusAcademy.com. Use the promo code WINTER. Use the promo code WINTER and get that good deals that he has. Or pick up the phone and call him at 1-800-949-1408 and get started with this and see it, and just let them help you if you're in the market, something you're doing. Bob, appreciate you coming on, being with us. Any last minute things you want to tell the folks?
No, just you know, take courage. You know, I always tell people the prepared are less stressed than the unprepared, and you know, be an ant, not a grasshopper, and just be diligent every day, and take as much risk out of your life as you can. Simplify your life as best you can, and you know, look for the little wins every day, and you'll be fine. Family, friends, God, you know, your fellow church members. You know, this is a time for you to get your network together and be able to mutually support each other, and we'll be just fine, because, you know, in the end, I read the rest of the book, Paul, in the Bible. It says God wins, so we're okay anyway.
We got the victory. We got the victory. God bless you, Bob. Thank you so much, and we look forward to talking to you again next time right here on The Coming Apocalypse.
Thanks, Paul.